Chairs. Correct. Now.
What are we gonna do?
Hold on.
You gonna play a game?
Oh. Okay.
Now, who can tell me what these are? Chairs. A blanket on top of chairs. Yes.
A big ass table.
Which usually is, if your brothers made this, what would you call it?
A fort.
A fort.
A fort. Okay, so underneath, what's there?
A chair.
Chairs. When you cover it up, it becomes something different. Especially to a kid anyways. It becomes something totally different. It becomes a fort. It becomes like a magical retreat. They turn it into like whatever little thing they want to imagine when they're inside. But underneath the blanket, it's still just chairs. So God's righteousness works very similar. Underneath, it's just us. Raggedy, however well put together, whatever covering we got going on us, whatever there is that's to us, anything like that. But he takes his righteousness. It says in his word, I'm not a volunteer yet. I don't need you yet. You gotta go wait. He tells us in his word that he covers us with his righteousness. Meaning that it wasn't because of how beautiful we were. It wasn't because of how skillfully we were made. It wasn't because of all the trinkets or things that we had going on with us. It wasn't because of our specific personality. It wasn't because of our ethnicity. It wasn't because of where we grew up at, where we were born at, where our people came from, if they were on the Mayflower or they was on a slave ship. He didn't say none of that. He says that whoever we are, whatever we are, when we come into the kingdom of heaven, when we ask him into our hearts, that he then takes his righteousness, not ours. See, sometimes in church it's preached that we're supposed to live in righteousness. We're supposed to be righteous. It puts this real burden on us that we're supposed to like be flawless. We're supposed to know how to walk out of sin. We're supposed to act a certain way, do a certain things. And yes, God calls us up to a standard of living. That is when he says in our word, like do this, don't do this, blah, 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 all this different stuff. He wants us to live in that way. He wants us to strive to be better people. But he tells us when we come into the kingdom, as these chairs, just as we are, whatever we got going on, that he takes his righteousness, because he is righteous. He is perfect. He is all, the good. And he knows exactly what's right and what's wrong. He knows how the world's supposed to be put together. He knows how things are supposed to work. He takes his righteousness and he covers us up. And therefore he creates something new. We are no longer the old chairs. We're no longer our old person. We're no longer the old thing. Not because we did so much really good, great stuff, because we volunteered, because we gave at the food bank, because we went and helped the old lady across the street. And he doesn't say that. He says he has covered us with his righteousness and made us into something new. We're now a fort. No. But we're now something, a different creation in his kingdom. We're now something different, not because of our own efforts, not because of us being valuable or worthy or loved. Yet we are. We are valuable to him, we are worthy to him, and we are loved. He has chosen us, each and every one of us. He went to that cross, each and every one of us. But he tells us that it is his righteousness that makes us new. It is his covering that makes us into something new, that makes us into something beautiful, that it's not our doing, And I think that's important for some of the topics we talk about today. Some of the things that we'll discuss later today. I think it's first important to understand the fact that it's not in our own doing that makes us so valuable to God, that makes us usable in the kingdom, that makes us worthy of walking out of the yuck that we may have seen. That we, if these chairs were broke down and they were bent up, the leg was busted, if you could see stitching and stuff coming out of there, it doesn't change anything. I talked about this on Monday, the fact that my boys will take cushions. They will take, the dog could have peed on the cushions. They don't care. They could have been left outside and smelled like mildew. They don't care. They're going to take whatever they want to, and they're going to cover it with the blanket, and it's going to become a fort to them.
Yay!
It's not going to matter. Okay, I need my volunteer now.
Without the phone.
I need you to come and sit in one of the chairs. Now, if somebody saw your old shape, they saw who you used to be, and they still come to use you like they used to see you, like you used to be before God's covered you with his righteousness, it doesn't change his covering. If they said, well, you know, that person over there, they used to do this, that, and the other, that don't take off his clothing of righteousness. It did not change when he came and sat down in the chair and used it as a chair instead of a fort. The fact that he did not see it as a fort, he did not use it as a fort, did not change the fact that the covering was still there. God's righteousness doesn't move off of us because of the rest of the culture, because of the rest of society, because of our old group of friends or even our new group of friends. It doesn't change on us his clothing of righteousness, his covering of righteousness. The fact that he garments us with something does not change because we say no, because we don't like how we look that day, because we don't like our attitude, because we're being funky, because we decided to walk this way, walk that way, do this, be used in our old ways. It did not change his covering. That righteousness doesn't be removed. When God covers us with his righteousness, he covers us with his righteousness. And the only difference is us understanding what the purpose is. Get up off of me, I'm a fort, not a chair. When we know our purpose, then we can protect what it is that God has now covered and made new. Don't sit on me, I'm a fort. You can get inside, but you can't sit on me, I'm not a chair. I'm a fort, not a chair. Because when you don't know the purpose of a thing, what happens, Ashley?
Abuse is inevitable.
Hello.
Abuse is inevitable.
Hello, guys.
You will allow people to sit on you. You will allow people to misuse you. You will allow people to call you what you used to be before you were covered with his righteousness, when you don't understand the purpose of a thing. Okay?